my overwhelming view of this, by the way, you said 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
So that's one way of looking at it, 7 or 8 years. Another way of looking at it is to say it's about 27 years, right? Because it's essentially been
the same
structure that has led and governed Lagos for the last, almost generation. Fundamentally, I think the way I would characterize the governance of Lagos is that Lagos, I think, has been undergoverned.
Undergoverned.
Yeah.
But some would say, looking at the level of development, it seems to be the blueprint of, well, I call it maybe development, achievement, compared to other states.
Well, you might think so, but it depends on the yardstick that you use.
Infrastructure, for instance.
Yeah, so if you use infrastructure and you say that it is the benchmark because Lagos has more infrastructure than any other state, I think that would be a wrong conclusion, because by definition, you expect Lagos to have more infrastructure than any other state. Lagos has by far more resources than any other state, by far. Lagos's revenue is by far more than any other state. And even if you take into account population, so if you look at revenue per capita, which is revenue for each resident, Lagos has far more than any other state. So it is expected that Lagos should have more infrastructure than other states. The yardstick in governance is not, necessarily just that. The yardstick in government is more about what have you done or what have you delivered to the people for the resources that you have deployed. And it is not just saying you have more infrastructure than Zamfara or you have more infrastructure than Kebbi, but to what extent have you been able to manage the resources of Lagos to deliver the outcomes in terms of people's lives for the resources that you've deployed over that extended period of time. And I think if you judge Lagos on that metric, you would reach a different conclusion. What is the purpose of governance? The purpose of governance must be reflected in the quality of life of the people that you govern. And by the way, this is even in our constitution. The purpose of government is what? The security and welfare of the people, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's the welfare of the people? What is the welfare of the people? The educational options that they have, their healthcare situation, they have water, they have power, what is their housing situation, what is their quality of life on these things that we call human development indicators. And if you look at these things, and you think about the resources that Lagos has deployed for the last 30 years, our budget for the last year is about 3 trillion. Think about the amount of resources that are being deployed on an annual basis, and then measure these human development indicators, and then the quality of people's lives. I think you would reach a different conclusion.